It's not the house that's haunted. It's your son.
What's your favorite scary movie?
What's the boogeyman?
As a matter of fact, there was.
What's up, guys? MJ here, and welcome to the Slashers and Sync podcast. If you're watching us on YouTube, hello. If you are listening to us on Spotify, also hello.
Yeah.
Joining me is my co-host, as always,
Marvelous.
How are
Which,
you?
by the way, I recently found out that we can do videos on Spotify now. So.
Yeah, but I don't upload them through the website though. I guess I could, but I don't know if I want to get into that.
I understand. I understand.
But we'll see what happens.
Yeah, maybe you might find us on Spotify soon.
We might bring that to y'all. Spotify also has an auto caption feature. I saw a few podcasts have it, but I don't think we're able to sign up for it. I think we might have to meet like a criteria or something.
Probably, but I mean, we can always look into it.
It looks pretty dope. It looks literally like you're listening to lyrics and it's like us talking. So
oh, nice.
Yeah. But I mean, everything's like captioned nowadays. So,
yeah.
No.
Yeah. It's kind of scary.
AI.
All right, that's not what we're here to talk about. Trust me on that.
Artificial intelligence. No? Okay. You guys saw the thumbnail and the title. We're going to be talking about D23. But before we get into like the news and some of the stuff that came out, and I also may try and venture into live streaming on the Slashers and Sync channel. And there I can probably spend like 2 hours just going over a lot of the stuff. This is going to be more like just bullet point. We're going to be hitting everything pretty quickly. I did want to cover Doom first. Robert Downey Jr. from San Diego Comic-Con. Because we didn't really have a chance to make a reel or a TikTok on that. We just...
No, not at all. I think you and I were just looking for information and absorbing it as best as we could.
I don't even think we made a post about it, right?
I put it up on our story on Instagram. Okay. That was it.
So yeah, let's talk about Doom. What were your thoughts? Where were you? Paint me the picture. What was your mindset when that came out?
I was at work.
Okay.
I was on lunch. Funny enough, I feel like I found out before everybody else did. Because when you told me, I just kind of looked at you and I was like, yeah, dude. Yeah.
I found out late.
No, but not just you. Everybody else, too. Everybody else that I was around, be it coworkers, be it friends, be it family, they all found out like a couple days after I did. And I was so confused because I felt like Robert Downey Jr. debuting as Dr. Doom would pick up on a lot of momentum. I mean, it's Robert Downey and then it's also Doom. So put the two together and you got like a dangerous mix right there.
I didn't find out 2 days late. She's talking about other people. I found out later the night it was announced.
Yeah. I'm talking about like he was the only one who was almost up to speed, but at the same time, I was surprised it took him so long. I credited him not texting me about Robert Downey Jr. being Doom as he figured I saw it on Instagram too, or on Twitter, or X, whatever the fuck you want to call it, I guess.
My sister found out before me too.
Yeah, no, but when I came home from work, a couple hours in, I hear him geeking, and then I realize he found out.
Yeah.
But essentially, I liked it. I entertained the idea. At first, I was a little confused, but seeing him walk out without the Tony Stark like goatee and not having the full Tony Stark walk, I can see the vision. Plus, I made this comment to you, and funny enough, a couple days later, it seemed like it became a ongoing idea of others too. Like it didn't go missed. Yeah. Which is Robert Downey Jr. entered the Marvel franchise in the beginning, when Marvel was at its lowest.
Yeah.
Because I think Marvel has been going on since the 60s or the 70s, right?
As far as like I think the comics, yeah.
Not just the comics, but like also some of the movies? Or is it like the 80s?
I don't know about all that. I mean,
or 90s.
The oldest I know is like Blade, but you could be thinking of more like older like
animation.
Yeah, like I don't quote me on that. If we're wrong, just comment down below.
Yeah, please. I'm not a Marvel expert. I know some things. I don't know most things. So please, by all means, educate me.
I'm dumb. I'm just kidding.
No. But essentially, like it was interesting. I feel like Robert Downey Jr. coming in now is under the same kind of context where Marvel seems to be at one of its lower points. Plus, Downey has always mentioned that he likes playing complex characters, and Doom is a very complex character for those of you who know.
Yeah.
So I can see it. I also told you he needs to be very careful in the way that he carries himself, his mannerisms, because one slip up and people are going to immediately turn on him.
Yeah.
You heard the whole crowd roar with him walking out. It could also be a different kind of crowd whenever the movie comes out.
Very true, yeah.
He does carry like the ambiance and like the charisma of Doom if he really tries. I can see it. Are there other actors out there that I feel like could have fit the role better, both like appearance wise and portrayal? For sure. But I also understand why they did it. Downey's already been there. They know how to work with him. They know how he works. It's not a new person getting a big name.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you're not wrong. There's a lot of people who could have even replaced Kang.
Mm-hmm.
They could have kept Kang as the main villain and had somebody.
Because they had him just fall off. Right whenever he was just starting to bloom, like he disappeared.
By the way, spoiler talk for pretty much anything we bring up, so be aware of that. If you don't want to hear spoilers on any of the stuff we talk about, you might want to click off and just come back later. But Loki season 2, they kind of wrapped up the Kang storyline there. They did. People were telling me, like BG, a close friend of mine, was saying that you could look at it another way, but he also agrees that if you want to take it at that value, that they did kind of write his story up there.
Essentially, yeah, they finished it. They closed the chapter. Like, he's not coming back, which is very sad because as more time passed, I started to like the King idea and character more. In the beginning, I was a little reluctant, but the amount of attachment that I found with King around season 2 Loki, I could see the build up from there. I could slowly start seeing the vision if I would like to give Marvel a little bit more credit than what it's due.
So, I mean, he got beat by Ant in Quantumania, so like, they kind of fucked his aura up with that. Yeah. Like that's all that people remember him by. Like they don't even bring up the cool Loki stuff anymore. The cool it's just that
he got beat up by Ant, and Ant-Man unfortunately isn't viewed as being that strong. Yeah, which I find insane. But I mean, the masses are the masses, so
yeah. I guess what fucks it up, and it doesn't help that like around that same scene where he got beat up by ants, Kang delivers that badass like speech where he's like, you know how many worlds I've conquered, you know how many Avengers I've killed, you know how many it's.
And you like as an audience member, you realize he's talking about different timelines. This isn't the first time that he's come across an Avengers or a set of Avengers or somebody who's affiliated.
And he's put them all down, so and it just.
Which I loved it. I love the idea of everything being at risk all over again and very, very quickly. I am not one who falls easily for the happily ever afters or things are okay for 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years. I like for the mayhem to just continue, for the illusion to be the peace, not the chaos.
I thought he was going to be the Kang that was going to be the next, I thought that was the Thanos,
the next big
introduction. Not that we're gonna end off with a whole council of Kang. There's even more people above him and different variants. I thought he was gonna be it. Yeah, he was we thought he was him. The whole he's coming, tied it into Loki. He's about to break out. I thought that was he's about to get out of his imprisonment in the quantum world,
they had a huge aura built around him, and then they also dropped him very quickly for obvious reasons. Of those of you who don't know, look into it. It's fascinating.
Mark, a mutual of ours, Real to Real, also known as KRW Productions, he brought up to me something interesting on the phone the other night. I don't know if he's gonna ever say this live or on his video, so I don't know if I'm stealing his thunder, but he mentioned one of the big reasons why they brought back Robert Downey Jr. was because of the fact that they don't have any faces right now.
Yeah.
Like Chris Hemsworth is there, but he's not really the guy.
No.
And you need somebody from back then. Like you need to have a face that people remember. And he brought up something interesting. So the MCU took a break.
Yeah.
1 year after Endgame.
Yep.
So for all the fucking people who don't remember they took a break, they did.
Yeah.
Everyone thinks they should have taken a break after Endgame. They did.
No, they did.
Yeah, they did.
It was short, but they did.
They took a year break. WandaVision comes out, right? In 2021.
Mm-hmm.
Chadwick passes in 2020. And Mark brought up something interesting. Chadwick was probably going to be the face.
Probably.
He was going to be the character like Tony that comes in at post-credit scenes. He was going to be the one they mentioned.
Which I could see because they were already alluding that level of appearances, if you will, ever since he debuted in Civil War.
Yeah. He was going to be okay, we don't know any information. I'm just speculating here. He was going to be the character that we see in shows like Hawkeye or in Moon Knight or in any other show that bridges these shows together. And you can go, that's him. I'm invested. Because Chadwick Boseman's a phenomenal actor. At the time, at the end of Endgame, his face is just as recognizable as Robert Downey Jr., Chris Evans. They also lost Chris Evans too. It wasn't just RDJ.
Yeah.
Like, they needed somebody. No offense to Bucky, and I forget the actor that plays him, but he wasn't on that level yet. Like, it's just
maybe now.
Wakanda forever. Not Wakanda. Black Panther was huge. That was a cultural impact. It was huge.
Yeah, I remember.
So, he was going to be the face. I'm pretty sure about that. So him passing in 2020, I think, fucked all of Phase 4 up. At least in my opinion. I could be wrong. Maybe they don't look at it that way.
Well, Kang also has an interesting tie with Black Panther, if I'm not mistaken. So
I can't fully remember, but you might be onto something. So it does sound familiar, but either way, we got Doom, and I'm looking forward to it. I can see why some people are hesitant, but I have faith in RDJ. He's a great actor.
He is. You haven't seen Sherlock, which I find kind of shocking, and I feel like once I throw you into Sherlock, you'll see how he can transition from like role to role. He
just had that movie recently, right, where he played like 7 people in the movie. Like it was all different actors. Like I mean, it was all different characters.
Different characters, yeah. His acting is phenomenal, but you can also kind of say it comes from the tragedy of his childhood, if you will. I've really dove into the life of Robert Downey Jr., at least what was disclosed to the press at one point. I was very intrigued by the man.
No, I feel that.
Yeah.
Gonna be interesting.
I think I like it. I don't think it'll be as bad as people are painting it out. Am I gonna walk in with a grain of salt and not think that Robert Downey Jr. is gonna kill the role from the get-go? Of course.
Pedro Pascal, man, and RDJ. Those Titans, dude.
There's gonna be 2 forces to reckon with, because like we all know Pedro from Mandalorian, but
Last of Us too,
and Last of Us as well. It'll be very, very fun to see him as Reed Richards. Seeing Downey just kind of embodying a new role and really defying all odds, I also feel like is another thing that I've been waiting for a while now.
Yeah.
I feel like his role with Sherlock was definitely something that he did during his time as Iron Man, and I'm also really excited to see how he's going to debunk all those molds that he created for himself during the last 12 years of Marvel.
Yeah. So, staying on to Marvel, let's go ahead and jump into D23. Daredevil.
Yeah.
Born Again. It was amazing to see the entire cast on stage, all from Netflix.
I saw the photo, yeah.
By the way, John Bernthal, you have no reason to have that much aura, brother. Listen. Come to California, be on this podcast. We're going to talk about your aura. We'll talk about your cadence.
I might fangirl for like 2 minutes.
Did it off screen.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. His aura on stage, I think I looked, like he just looks like the Punisher, man. He just looks like...
they picked out a very, very good actor.
Oh, he's phenomenal. Yeah. I love John Bernthal. I love him pretty much in anything he's been. Even like The Walking Dead, which He was only in it for like, what, 2 seasons?
2 seasons. He definitely captured the role really, really, really well. I mean, I think I told you this during the beginning of our relationship, but I haven't said this in a while. John Bernthal and the Punisher show itself is the reason why I dove into the Netflix Marvel TV series to begin with. If I hadn't watched The Punisher, I'm pretty sure I wouldn't have watched the Marvels on Netflix, like the Marvel shows from Netflix.
Yeah.
And really dove into that side of the universe either. I probably would have just let it keep rocking because for a while, I would see the advertisements of Daredevil. I would see the advertisements of Iron Fist or Jessica Jones or even Luke Cage. And I would just kind of sit back and be like, it says Marvel on there, but it's not one of the big Marvel movies. So why the fuck would I waste my time?
Right.
Punisher comes around and I am gladly eating my own words. It is a very nice show to jump into for you to get acquainted with the Marvel universe that Netflix builds. But it still is good enough and well-rounded enough to where it can be a standalone series and season as well.
Right.
You're not thrown into the middle of the story. You have a world to kind of build up on right then and there. Season 2, different story, but season 1 for sure you can watch as a standalone.
They mentioned that Daredevil or Matt Murdock and Kingpin are going to be working together to face a new threat.
Yeah. Hearing that, I kind of have an idea of what they're going to do.
What is it?
No.
What?
No.
Tell us. We want to know.
It's based off of a variation of a comic. And I mean, as of late...
There's spoiler talk, man. Let it all out.
I mean, as of late, they already have the whole headcanon that with RDJ being Doom, they're going to flip the script of one of the comic series where it's Anthony Stark that's Doom.
I've heard that,
and he's like a good Doom. This version is going to be the complete opposite from what the headcanon's like. So if I say how it plays out in the comics, it could also come out 360 or like 180, depending on like how far they want to spin it. The two of them working together, though, will be interesting because if they are, I would like to assume it may be either Hawkeye or like Venom, but in the form of Spider-Man. Because we have Sandman and we have, like, from Spider-Man 3 or 4, there's Sandman, there's the new Green Goblin, and then there's Venom. I feel like this will be an interesting way to introduce the idea of Venom taking over Tom Holland and then Doomsday kind of finishing that story, if you will.
I see what you're saying. Yeah. That's true. Because he's in New York going to college.
He's going to college right now, and that this is during the time frame whenever Venom comes into play.
Also, Kamala's dad is in the show, which everyone just thought that was like a funny ass, like random cameo. I'm sure there's a reason for it.
Kamala ties the people from Marvel over to the people from X-Men, so that's one of the big reasons why. And I mean, if you want to talk about X-Men, we just had Deadpool Wolverine come out, so
yeah, big
X-Men movie.
But before we jump into X-Men, actually, the trailer was fire for Daredevil.
I didn't see the trailer.
Oh, dude, it was.
But the poster art that I saw was very reminiscent of the intro from Netflix, which I enjoyed.
The action's great, bro.
If they're using the same actors, of course the action's gonna be great. You can't not make it great. Charlie Cox, that's his name, right? Charlie Cox is a really, really good actor, in my opinion.
People were criticizing the action that he was doing in, what was that one show called? The one with the girl who, I forget her name. It was the one we started last year, but we didn't finish it. She can't speak. She either can't speak or she can't hear, one of them. Echo? Yeah, it was Echo. They were criticizing the action. Yeah, so I guess
that's a variation of Daredevil. That's not the Daredevil that we know.
You can have that action with them, but
yeah,
they had good.
He was still a good actor.
They had good choreography for this.
Yeah,
and they had people who pay attention. So yeah, that's what makes the difference. But I will say though, what was interesting is Vincent, the actor for Kingpin, said that this is the most gruesome the Daredevil series has ever been, and he's actually surprised that a cut made it into the show because of how bad it is.
And it's going to be on Disney.
I mean, yeah, TVMA. Yeah,
Yeah,
so.
TVMA, yeah, but the fact that Disney's really diving into this whole like blood and gore shit, never thought I would see the day. I'm a little scared,
I mean,
but I like it.
They got First Omen on Disney Plus, so I mean,
Yeah, they also released Alien, which we still need to see.
that's already out.
It comes out on the 15th, same day as Coraline.
All right, we'll figure something out.
Yeah.
But so you mentioned X-Men earlier.
Yeah.
They announced X-Men 97 season 2.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't finished the first season yet, but it's fire, man.
Yeah.
Like I think you said you're not as invested as I was, but she had me fooled. She was like talking about stuff, how this is gonna happen. She was even sad like when Gambit, spoilers, sad when Gambit, kicked the bucket. So it was just kind of like,
that hurt.
yeah,
I got to see why people like Rogue so much.
yeah.
I really got to see, because if she has the same charm in the other shows, then I understand. I didn't grow up watching the X-Men TV series, unfortunately. I wish I did,
Yeah.
but I didn't. I knew all the characters, because all the cool kids knew the characters, but that's it.
Supposedly, I looked it up. The reason why Rogue has the ability to fly and punch and everything real strong, like carry stuff, is because supposedly when she puts her hands on people and absorbs their power, or like absorbs their essence,
Mm-hmm.
she can take it on temporarily depending on how long she does it. Supposedly, she absorbed Captain Marvel. So that's, or not absorbed her, but like took her essence when she held her. So that's how she has the ability to fly and like
It's super strong.
super strong, super fast. So I was like, oh, that's kind of dope.
So where's Captain Marvel in all this?
I don't know. Oh, it was
Probably
cool.
sad and depressed.
It was cool seeing the Captain America cameo.
Yeah.
He got hoed, bro.
Which is fine. I mean, let's see Captain America get hoed, by all means. I don't need to always see him being like the strapping, happy-go-lucky leader that he always was in the live action. He made his mistakes.
I mean, overall, I'm just looking forward to it. Plus, with them announcing that the new Marvel Animation Studios, they specifically want every show to have like a different variation of it, and they don't want the same art style, the same look. And I'm like, all right, that's cool. Make it all different.
Yeah.
So, and we see that in I think the Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man show that's coming out next year.
We do see that.
That looks very different.
I think also in like the What If.
What If is also different.
Every episode was almost different in a way.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like Spider-Verse was kind of like an introduction to the idea or the concept of like art being different in the same universe.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm excited.
I'm ready, man. It seems like they finally got like a good head on their shoulders when it comes to this.
For now.
Yeah.
I mean, every single time I say that, or every single time I feel that, I get shown the complete opposite. So I'm going to have faith, but not too much faith.
Now, this is for another video or live stream or whatever, but I do think their biggest fault, and I think they've got a good handle of it now, their biggest fault in Phase 4 was their schedule.
Yes.
They released too many shows. It was too much. It was
really back to back. Really hard to keep up with.
It was cool at the moment, like, oh, we're going to be eating good. We got this in April, we got this in May, we got this in July. Like, it felt like there was so much, but then the
burnout was insane.
Yeah, you couldn't keep up with it, dude. And then you had to add in the movie releases too coming out throughout the year.
You had to make sure you watched them in the right order, or else it didn't quite make sense because the movie would reference something that happened in a show, and the show just recently came out. I feel like maybe Marvel was trying to make up for having that 1 year off, but at the same time, like revenue-wise, they didn't have to do that.
No, they didn't.
Because again, like you said, you and I were kind of talking about how we were going to be eating good, or like how the show was really, or like Disney Plus essentially was just going to be our main streaming hub for a while. But after round 3 of whatever series coming out and whatever season we were wrapping up, I kind of sat there and I was like, and we have more.
2021 should have just been WandaVision.
Yes.
Shang-Chi. Loki.
Yeah.
And then No Way Home. Mm-hmm. That's all it should have been.
Yeah. Everything else could have come out after 21. Or if anything, at the very end of 21 and into 22, that would have made sense too. But having it consecutively come out made me feel like as if either Marvel itself was rushing the story or just that the story really wasn't thought out as much. Because going back and watching it now for the second time or like for the third time, whatever movie or show it is, it doesn't feel that way. But that's also because it's not coming out live. I've taken the time to sit back and marinate with the story. Whenever the story is very fresh, it just kind of feels like boom, 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 like one thing after the other. I have no moment to breathe or no moment to digest the information. It's just kind of like, okay, well, this happened. All right. Two scenes later, that thing that just happened is now 5 steps ahead in one way or form.
And I think with WandaVision being in 2021, they should have started 2022 off with the Scarlet Witch movie.
Yeah.
But I would actually, maybe they couldn't have done this. This is asking for the impossible because of Scarlett Johansson's schedule. Mm-hmm. But they should have did that as a TV show.
Yeah.
They should have had a face that's been around since Iron Man 2. A face that everybody recognizes. Let's keep it real. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Guys think she's hot. The women love her, at least back then.
Yeah.
Like, she would have been the person to bring onto these TV shows to make people want to subscribe to Disney Plus, to go watch like a 4 to 6 episode series. That's how you introduce Yelena, Florence Pugh, and then you bring her in later in the Christmas show, Hawkeye. You bring her in there. You have a Hawkeye TV show. I think there's different things that they should have did, and they just didn't do it. Like there
was a lot of things that could have been executed a whole lot better. And we've seen Marvel take care of it before and Disney, but it just seemed like with this new phase, they completely threw everything that they learned and that they knew into the wind, seeing if new things will stick, but then realizing that sticking true to the old is what'll get them far and what has gotten them this far.
Yeah. Like they're going back to like a 2 or 3 movie release, or they're going back to like just a couple shows, keeping it simple. But another big franchise that will probably be competing with these Marvel movies that was announced, Avatar 3.
Ah, yeah, Fire and Ash, sure.
Yeah, Fire and Ash.
Yeah.
Have you seen Way of Water?
No. Still no. My parents have seen it 3 times. They're huge fans of the Avatar movies.
Remember when people thought that they were going to make no money? That it was like a fluke, and then they surpassed Endgame, right?
It surpassed Endgame, yes. Avatar 2, The Way of Water, surpassed Endgame from what I believe. What a lot of people don't realize is that Avatar has a huge fan base. Very big fan base and very cult-like fan base. They're not that active online, but trust me when I say they love Avatar. And even if they are active online, it's more of like the younger groups. Because I remember the story and the hype behind the first release of the Avatar film, how it took about 10 years to produce because not only are you creating like a language of its own, but you're also creating a world of its own. It's the first time where you're incorporating CGI onto a person, plus like realism acting, plus green screen, and like layering all these different things together and ultimately coming out with like what we see on the screen, making it about 10 years into the making. And what we see is just that last final work of art, and the likelihood now that we have a world, we can continue to build on it. Yeah. Somehow that story got lost. It came around the same era as like Incredibles and Nemo, where all these 3 films were essentially told, and Cars, that they were going to get their sequels. And we were told that the sequels were going to come out very quickly soon after, but that didn't happen. Yeah. At least a decade, if not more, passed before a sequel for each film came out, respectfully. Yeah. Now that it's out, and now that they saw how well Way of the Water did, I think I read somewhere that every 2 years, a new Avatar film is coming out. Plus, with Disney Shanghai, Disney World, and Disneyland, all having Avatar worlds, this shit's not going anywhere. Yeah. Even if they don't make money, they're going to figure out a way to make money off of it, because like they have actual merch, like not only park designated merch, but merch being released online now for the Avatar films. I remember before you would have to go hunting and you would need to be really lucky to find anything Avatar related. Now it's not that hard.
Yeah. Plus, James Cameron, as much as I think he's brilliant, he's a weird motherfucker. I know for a fact that if he's ever on his deathbed, he will literally write out the rest of the movies so Disney could just make them.
Essentially, I think they are written out, no?
They probably are, but he wants them to come out. He wants them to be the top of the line. He wants to be known as the guy with the biggest franchise. Like
essentially, like something as big as like Lord of the Rings, where you create your own language in your own world and you can actually have it continue to build. I mean, the idea alone, even if they didn't have ideas from James Cameron and they needed to go without him, like there's just so much that they could do, so much that they could explore, and so many things that they could expand on, which is insane. I don't know if I'll watch it. I feel like the design of like Fire and Ash seems pretty cool.
Yeah. It did look dope, the concept stuff.
From what I saw, it also seems to have a slight darker note than the other two films, which is... I'm very familiar with the first film. Like I said earlier, I haven't watched the second film, so I don't know. But if it's darker than the first film, then that'll be interesting to watch because there's a lot of death and destruction in the first movie.
I think he actually commented on the title for it. He explained Fire and Ash. He said that since fire means like hatred and brimstone and destruction, and then ash is like to be reborn, like to come from the ashes. So there's gonna be some like crazy shit that happens in that movie probably. Some huge war or like something.
Probably. I mean, we also came to learn in the first movie that there's a lot of different tribes, and I think the main character, he only touched base maybe with like 10 tribes or 12 tribes, and that already led to near close to 1 million people being under his will or his movement. But I mean, I first need to watch Way of the Water before I can sit down and watch Fire and Ash, but I know my family's going to watch it and they're very excited for it.
So they're probably going to drag you along even though you haven't seen it?
They were not successful with Way of the Water. I don't think they're going to be successful with Fire and Ash. I will be watching both movies on my own time.
Well, the opposite of Fire and Ash, Frozen was given a release date. Frozen 3.
I thought they were done. Especially with the way that 2 like finished.
Are you a fan of the movies?
I was.
Okay.
I definitely was.
Frozen was like the bread and butter at one point. Like you had to have seen it or like know about it. Like
there
it was huge.
So many references. I had 2 Olaf plushies. One that was from Costco. That's okay. It's the snowman. It's the snowman. He's a very cute snowman. I had a Costco version of him, and then I had the Disney official version of him.
Right.
I was that obsessed. But as time passed, the movies became very much overplayed, and you could very much tell that Disney had turned those films into their cash cow. Excuse me. And all they were doing was just releasing the same shit in different ways and making more money off of it nonetheless. Mind you, the animation in Frozen has won awards on top of awards. The soundtracks, like just the instrumentals, have won Grammys and so many different other awards. Yeah. And even the songs with like lyrics, again, have won so many different awards, including Grammys. So it does deserve its praise. But I feel so tired of the movie and the films and like the storyline. Like I think the only thing of Frozen that I really like is when Elsa has that fever, and it's only because it's a short film. Yeah. It's 5 minutes long, and it's the one thing of the Frozen franchise that I have not seen more than twice.
Interesting.
Mind you, I used to work with kids, and I was working with kids during the peak of Frozen and Frozen 2. So I was hearing all the songs all the time. Everybody was singing whatever they could. They had all different kinds of plushies of the same characters, and if somehow one girl wasn't satisfied with their own doll or plushie, they needed the other girl's doll or plushie because it looked better or had a cuter dress or whatever the fuck it may have been. Yeah.
So you have history with it.
I do have history with it. Will I watch it? Probably, because I've already seen the second one. But I feel like the second movie tied a knot, and I don't really need movie 3 to be there to to double knot it.
Is it a day one theater or is it a watch it on Disney Plus?
If there is nothing else in theaters for us to watch and I'm craving to go to the movies, then I will go watch it. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I just mean it as in it's not a priority for me. I love watching Disney films in theaters. However, currently I am on strike from Disney. I am not watching or consuming their media as much, at least not new media. So, and...
I mean, we just watched this, Deadpool Wolverine.
Other than that, I think that was the only thing that I broke my strike for, truly.
I'm technically with her, but at the same time, it's just hard to like break away from stuff. Like at this point, like 90% of the U.S. is like Zionist shit, but I'm not gonna get into that on this podcast. So
sorry.
You're good.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, I'll watch it, but I don't think it's a day one because I also wanted to see Inside Out 2, and that's already been out for a while. There was a few other Disney films that released, and I didn't watch those.
Well, this is the era of sequels because we're also getting Toy Story 5. Which, by the way, I think I showed you the concept of it. They're gonna be fighting like electronics. I sent the
Skynet.
I sent the post to my sister, and she sent the post to me, and my response to her was, "Yo, they fighting iPads."
There's a Skynet. It is Skynet.
I cannot wait
2.0.
That's gonna be a joke, right? Like one of them is gonna be in front of like the iPad or something like that, and like it's gonna be the camera, and they're gonna freak out because it's like.
If the iPad comes to life, I will cry. If the tablet or whatever the fuck may be comes to life and actually has a mouth that moves, I will get up and I will leave.
And then you're gonna come home and be scared of your iPad.
I will smudge and incense the entire home and all the electronics right afterwards because Toy Story got me, man. When I was a kid, I already did not mistreat my dolls, but when I fully understood Toy Story, like around 5 or 6, I did not fuck around. I was like, I am not having my toys turn on me and then one day come and like tie me up and do stupid shit. All because of Sid.
After you play with them, you're just like,
okay,
I appreciate you.
I love
Thank
you. You're so
much.
pretty. Like, even with my cars, oh, you're so fast. There's no bumps on you. You're not slow.
Yeah.
It got to me. They did it. And I was convinced if my doll moved, even if it was because I didn't place them right, I was convinced that the doll slipped up. It wasn't because of physics or momentum or whatever the fuck it may have been. So this, with the whole electronics thing, is definitely going to get to me.
You're going to come home. It's okay, iPad. I love you. I'll take care of you.
I will never tell Alexa shut up again. I'm sorry. So... yeah, and most of our lights and filters are smart lights and filters.
Yeah.
I'm already building a lot of anxiety just with the idea of it, and I haven't even watched the film. I'm also a little confused because I thought with Woody's stories being closed and like Bonnie kind of not moving on, but building a life of her own with the toys that stayed, that would be it. But from what I saw in the poster, Woody's there with the rest of the toys.
Yeah.
And so is Bo Peep.
Yeah, it looks like they somehow get together for some reason.
So is it a time back? Did they go back or is it...
You mean like a prequel?
I guess. I don't know.
No, because Bo Peep didn't meet Woody until after that, so they would have to... I'm guessing Bonnie starts to lose interest in the toys because of electronics, and the toys don't know how to handle it. And since Woody was always the natural leader, they go to Woody, and that's how he gets involved. I'm assuming that's what happens.
I hope so, because if it's a prequel, then that would make no sense.
Yeah, it literally can't be a prequel. I mean, unless the movie makes no sense, sure, but I think there's some faith there. Because 4 wasn't made that long ago.
I just want a Big Hero 6, but number 2, man. Bring me another Baymax on screen.
Big Hero 12.
Big Hero 7. I'll be number 7.
Big Hero 12.
Big Hero 12. No, not 12.
It's double.
No.
Double.
Square.
What about
it would be 36.
What about take the 6 and then flip it into the 9? I see that in the intro. It flips into a 9.
Big Hero 9?
Yeah.
Doesn't have the same ring. I want a second film.
9 inches.
I know the banana's 9 inches. In the kitchen.
In the kitchen? We have bananas?
No.
Damn. I could go for a... No Diddy.
Anyway, what other news came out?
I mean, Moana 2.
Moana 2, I found out it's supposed to be released like very soon in September.
The trailer's fire, man.
From what I saw, yeah, it's pretty interesting to see Moana having a younger sibling.
Yeah, they
And
look
then
cute.
her hair being different. I like that she looks older. I like
It actually looks like a sound movie. Like, I don't think it's going to replace the first one, but it looks like a movie. Like, it looks like, okay, they got something here.
I noticed a certain trend this year, and correct me if I'm wrong, but we hadn't heard anything from Disney up until D23. Because I saw hints of like different trailers last year of Moana 2, and then after that, there was nothing. So
besides Marvel?
Besides Marvel.
Okay.
So in the back of my mind, I always thought, okay, well, Moana's not coming out until like 26, 27, maybe even 28. But to know that it's coming out later this year, and all I saw as far as like marketing was a 10-second trailer of like the classic shell with the sand and the ocean washing in, like the shoreline, the beach. And then Moana 2 in the corner to the trailer that we saw over the weekend. I was a little distraught. Same with like the Pixar films and most of the other movie news that we got.
Yeah. I mean, there's been news, but like the Pixar stuff and the Disney stuff specifically has been kind of like
hush hush.
I want to say hush hush. Like there's been rumblings of it, and we knew what they were doing. Like we knew that there was a Frozen, 2 coming, or Frozen 3 coming out. Like we knew things like that. It's just there was just a lot of news this time, and elaborated on a lot of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Dwayne Johnson though is reprising his role
as what?
Oh
yeah, as Maui.
So he's been losing some aura, man. Like people don't really see him as like The Rock anymore.
No, he's been selling his soul.
People kind of want him to go away, whether it's wrestling, movies,
animations, singing. I feel like he kind of shot himself in the foot whenever he went back to WWE the way that he did. But
all that stuff that came out about him, like changing matches and using his power like that.
Yeah,
I think and then like that movie stuff came out. Mm-hmm. So that that trailer we saw for the Christmas movie,
mm-hmm.
there was news about that, about how he would show up. Like I didn't know that was the movie specifically, but it was the one with Chris Evans. How he would show up to like the sessions and stuff and all that, like 8 hours late,
mm-hmm.
like 8 hours late after everyone was already there. He would like hold them back and this and that. And people also don't like being around him on sets either because he supposedly pisses in a bottle to save time. And he has like a guy carrying around the bottle. Like that. He has a guy, it's like a guy's job is dedicated to like emptying out the bottle and then running it back to him.
Same bottle?
I don't know if it's the same bottle, but
Ew.
So just
he gets paid a lot of money.
A lot of stuff has just been coming out about him, and then the whole like thing with DC, how he tried to do like a whole huge.
Yeah.
Remember, like
and then he also cheated on his wife.
Was that confirmed?
Yeah.
Really?
From what I know.
I remember mentioning it, but I don't know if it was ever confirmed though.
From what I know, yeah. But I could be wrong. I mean, I don't follow that kind of news.
Yeah, if we're wrong, just let us know. But like, anyway, a whole bunch of stuff's been coming out about him. He doesn't seem like the best person to work with. Plus, remember that military thing too? People actually like
delisted.
Yeah,
which was pretty funny. I don't think anybody's ever delisted from the military that quickly before.
Yeah, I don't know, man. We'll see what happens. Maybe this movie will bring him back. Speaking of Rock, have we heard any news about the second part to Fast 10? Nothing, right? Ever since the Vin Diesel allegations, things have been quiet, right? Interesting.
I mean, they could easily just leave it alone with the way that Fast 10 Part 1 is like.
I mean, no, because it ended like mid-fight scene.
It's okay.
Then it ended with Vin going down the...
I don't know. I don't remember. I remember watching it once and I was like, this is fucking ridiculous. This is worse than the idea of them going to space, taking the cars to space.
I forgot what he does, but he's going down like
a dam.
Like a dam, right? Like with his kid and like the car.
Yeah.
The whole explosion blows.
Yeah.
And then I think the post-credit was Dwayne, right? Saying like, oh, like you earned a dance with the devil's son or something like that. Or
Dwayne is just playing Dwayne, except when he's Maui.
Why is it that Hobbs, when he answers that phone call at the post-credit scene, if you close your eyes, you could think that's Dwayne Johnson talking to Cody Rhodes.
Because it is.
You just earned a dance with the devil, son.
Yeah.
Like that.
Because it is. He doesn't play anybody but himself, essentially, unless it's Maui.
Oh my God.
And it's so sad. Going back to D23 though. One thing that you and I never really talked about and I wanted to bring up and I wanted to get your idea and thoughts on. So this is my first time actually asking this question, guys. What do you think of Agatha All Along?
I was hyped for it back in 2021. But not so much now.
Why?
Just because of like the things I've heard about it, like how they had to like reshoot stuff, and then usually now, okay, a lot of movies go through reshoots, and a lot of shows go through reshoots. That's not new, but Marvel doesn't have a good track record of doing that. Usually, that means like a lot of stuff is scrapped, and when you want to start from scratch again for something, it's just we'll see what happens. I don't know, man. Like I'm just not too hyped for it. So.
I'm on the opposite side of the spectrum, actually.
But you're very into witch stuff, covens and...
Not just that, but I also was very interested into the story of Agatha to begin with. Because, again, I never read the comics. I'm not too familiar with Marvel outside of what I've seen on the screen. I know some tidbits and some facts, but not too much. I know I've said this on multiple occasions, but a lot of people think I'm an expert on everything. I'm really not.
She is.
No, I'm not.
She's built different.
I'm not.
Aura.
Nope. Thank you. Nope. No.
The original tribal chief.
No. That's you can take that title. That's fine.
OTC.
No. But anyway, I lost my train of thought. Thank you.
We're talking about Agatha all along.
Oh, Agatha. Thank you. With Agatha, I'm pretty excited because I always wanted to figure out her backstory and everything. The idea of her being a witch and like Disney entertaining the idea of witches, like actual witches, is very interesting to me as well. But putting that aside, I want to see what she does to get her mojo back, to get everything rolling. Especially with all the hints and all the different Easter eggs of how X-Men is going to be coming into play with the current Marvel universe that we know. And like all these different timelines are going to be crossing with each other. And these timelines are the timelines that we're all familiar with in different ways.
Especially with Secret Wars. Because I will say, no matter if you're hyped for these shows or not, Secret Wars being like in just 2026 and Doomsday in 2025, like that means a lot of stuff is going to pick up. Like
very quickly. A
lot of the shows and movies coming out, you need to watch them to know what's going to be happening in Doomsday. Like, and
I think you even had the headcanon while we were watching X-Men 97 is that the main antagonist on the show, like the underlying one, is theorized to be also the main antagonist in Agatha All Along as well. So if that's the case, then that's yet another note of the X-Men being tied into the current like Marvel universe, because Kamala was that one person, and then if we have Agatha thrown into the mix, that'd be dope.
You're also not wrong though, going back to your point about the search for getting her powers back, because that's pretty much what the trailer was. It was a very straightforward trailer.
Yeah,
there wasn't no hidden innuendos. There wasn't no like.
No,
it was literally just her searching for her power back. So.
And the question of the matter is how. You see it in different phases. I'm not gonna lie, the vocals are crazy. I saw a lot of different videos circulating the internet for Agatha All Along. I think that was one of the main announcements and promotional videos and just posts that I saw about any news that happened in D23. I think so not only did they have the cast come out on stage and sing the opening song from the trailer, they also had a bus that was circling around the convention area playing music and taking people on rides and giving out free merch. So there's a lot of like marketing for this show. But at the same time, it's coming out in September. I think like September 18th, September 19th.
Yeah. They could have did better over time, but now at least they're doing it now. Yeah. And I think that's because just the way Disney Marvel is handling things now. Like they got a better head on their shoulders. You know?
I think so too. Ultimately, like I'm really excited to see how this will all play out. I really want to see and understand Agatha's character more. She intrigued me in WandaVision for sure, because not only did she rival Wanda, But she also had Wanda questioning herself at a given moment in time. And it took Wanda snapping for Agatha to lose her powers, if you will. So
I feel like the Darkhold's gonna have to come back.
definitely.
Like, I feel like there was too much foreshadowed in WandaVision and then in Multiverse of Madness to where, like, didn't they straight up say that the Darkhold was used to stop Thanos, right? Like, it's just, I think that with everything going down and all the villains that we're about to face, these like timeline variants, multiversal villains, like
You need something that omnipotent.
Yeah, and then you wouldn't think of Agatha to be the one to wield it. You think, oh, Scarlet Witch, but no, like it's.
Yeah.
I think that's like gonna be very cool to see, and that's maybe how she gets her powers back.
I mean, because if you really think about it, after watching Multiverse of Madness, we don't have Scarlet Witch anymore. So who's the next runner-up?
True. Oh.
Yeah, and the only person who marveled the Scarlet Witch was, or rivaled the Scarlet Witch was.
Isn't like Vision still running around too somewhere? The white one?
Vision.
Yeah.
We have not seen or heard anything since WandaVision. That's for sure.
That's definitely the thing they lacked in when it came to
follow up.
Yeah, they hardly did any post credits with like teases of things. A lot of it was like
not
jokes.
Just that, but also Shang-Chi. Funny enough, Shang-Chi and the post credit that they had for that film where we find out the 10 rings are like celestial weapons.
They're from space or something.
Yeah, and then nothing. That's it. I don't know if it's going to come out soon. I don't know if we're going to figure it out what it is soon. Sorry, I almost glitched there.
Matrix.
Yeah, but I don't know. I want to see all these different pieces come together because, like what you said, it seems like Marvel is mainly focusing on jokes and almost like semi post-credit scenes or like blooper scenes.
Not having like the Thanos turn into really setting up like the story
or seeing
in
the
the next
gauntlet
movie.
and like the shadow of his smile in the background, or seeing the Collector interacting with Thanos and us not really knowing it's Thanos, or seeing like the Reality Stone go into effect for one of the films.
Yeah, like I feel like that's what they lacked in, but
yeah,
we'll see what happens. The Deadpool Wolverine post credit was also very much something within the film. It didn't really progress the story, but at the same time, though, I think Deadpool and Wolverine is kind of just kickstarting this all. So we'll see where this goes.
Yeah.
But yeah, we don't want to take up too much of your time. You and I may try and set up a live stream at some point. The idea that I had, and I'll just go ahead and share it with you guys. I've only talked to you about it once. I don't even know if you'll remember it because I barely remembered it. I want to upload the podcast every Tuesday and then every Friday possibly try and do a live stream either with Marvelous or just on my own and kind of just go over the news and everything that dropped. That way you guys are getting content on Friday and we're also uploading content on Tuesday. So you got something to hit you through the weekend and then you got something to last you through the weekdays. So hopefully that can be something that we can do. And if we do that, we'll go ahead and dive into a lot of the cool stuff. We'll go into who's directing what and all that and just give our thoughts on whatever has come out throughout the week.
Or even, hey, how about this? MJ posed the idea out there. We'll put a poll underneath this episode. Let us know if you want the live streams for sure. And if you do, is MJ's idea on a roll as far as like just giving you the news and the rundown and everything? Because I think it's great. Whether I'm there or not, I figure he can definitely run the show for sure. But while I love horror, there's also so much going on in other different departments too. And these other different departments are also blending into horror as well.
Right.
So I feel like it's all almost like intermingled. It's not, genres aren't so separated anymore.
Yeah, and I'm sure you guys can tell. Marvelous and I, we want to keep this, like we're just talking to our homies. So I will be real with you. As far as doing videos like this, we don't do them that much. Running down news and bullet points, that's not really our thing. We like just sitting and talking about movies.
No.
So if we can do a thing to where one night out of the week, we do just talk about all the movie news and all the pop culture news, cool. And then we can still do our movie stuff. It's a win-win for everybody. But like she said, let us know in the poll if you want us to do the live streams on a Friday and do the podcast on a Tuesday and keep it going that way, or just keep things the way they are. Let us know. Yeah. That was our D23 and I guess a little bit of San Diego Comic-Con there.
News coverage, if you will.
Yeah, we didn't cover everything, but go look it up on Twitter. I'm sure you can find whatever you need about those events. Anyways, Talk to you guys next time.